We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with a huge bit of news regarding Becky Lynch and her rumored return to WWE that will be taking place very soon. Now, as many of you are likely aware, one of the matches at the upcoming SummerSlam 2021 pay-per-view event that is drawing a lot of attention and excitement from fans is the rematch for the SmackDown Women's Championship between Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, who had finally made a return to WWE on Friday Night SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, and immediately set her sights on reclaiming the championship she lost to Bianca Belair at WrestleMania 37. Without question, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks are going to deliver a fantastic title match at SummerSlam, and while there had been some big speculation that Bianca Belair would be losing her SmackDown Women's title to Sasha Banks at SummerSlam 2021, with Vince wanting for Sasha to once again be the champion on the blue brand, with the new shocking rumors going around, Vince McMahon and WWE may be planning a big swerve and surprise to take place at the biggest party of the summer, and it will certainly catch both Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks completely off guard. Now, when we take a closer look at the status of Becky Lynch, who has been rumored to make her return to WWE for the past couple of months, with it previously having been reported that Becky Lynch was going to be making her comeback at the Money in the Bank 2021 pay-per-view event, and while it did not end up happening, there have been some new rumors leaked that indicate WWE are secretly planning for Becky Lynch to finally make her long-awaited return to the company at SummerSlam, as Becky Lynch has had enough time to train in preparation for her comeback and is ready to go now, with one source mentioning that WWE and Becky Lynch teasing her return at Money in the Bank 2021 was just to get fans excited and buzzing about Becky's comeback, and that SummerSlam was really the actual date that Becky has been expected to return to WWE behind the scenes for the past several months, and that is the date Becky has agreed to. Although Becky Lynch was last seen on Monday Night Raw giving up her Raw Women's Championship to Asuka, with it seeming like a logical idea was to have Becky Lynch return at SummerSlam 2021 and set her sights on either Nikki ASH, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and that Raw Women's Championship. Apparently, WWE are planning to swerve fans when Becky comes back, and that predictable scenario of Becky Lynch returning to set her sights on reclaiming the Raw Women's Championship will not be happening. And instead, there is a shocking behind-the-scenes report that has leaked Vince is planning for Becky Lynch to return either during or after the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, with WWE planning for Becky Lynch to start off fresh on Friday Night SmackDown and join the Blue Brand's women's division following her return. It's likely that Becky Lynch would proceed to attack both Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks to send them a message, with this scenario likely ending with Becky raising up the SmackDown Women's Championship to close out SummerSlam, or at least that title match, thus signaling Becky's move over to SmackDown and trying to win that title instead. There's no doubt that the women's division in WWE, especially SmackDown's, could use the presence of Becky Lynch, because with another major star like Bayley out of action for the foreseeable future on SmackDown, WWE does not have a lot of options for Bianca Belair and that SmackDown Women's title once her storyline with Sasha Banks finishes up, and Becky Lynch is arguably the perfect choice to join the women's division on SmackDown and bring the excitement level back up. Now, for the fans wondering exactly why WWE planned for Becky Lynch to return to WWE and move over to SmackDown, apparently Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins have asked WWE to be able to perform on the same brand, so that they can spend more time together on the road and coordinate their schedules better, and simply because Vince feels SmackDown could use a big women's division star like Becky Lynch more than Raw, which does have Charlotte Flair among other big names. Let us know your thoughts on the new rumors that suggest Becky Lynch could very well be making her return to WWE at the upcoming SummerSlam 2021 pay-per-view event later this month. And should Becky be returning to set her sights on something fresh like Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, and that SmackDown Women's Championship? Or do you feel like WWE should keep Becky on Raw and have her try to reclaim the Raw Women's title, which she truly never lost to begin with? Let us know. As we had reported on in one of our previous videos, Vince McMahon is planning to basically rebrand and change NXT from being its own unique brand in WWE to simply being the developmental territory for the main roster shows Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, instead of NXT being a third brand for the company. And as well, Vince is no longer interested in the usual smaller and older wrestlers that Triple H has featured in NXT over the past few years, and wants to instead sign bigger and larger-than-life prospects that Vince feels will become big stars on the main roster with a proper training and development in NXT. As a result, there has reportedly been a lot of toxicity directed at NXT behind the scenes in WWE lately, and it is reportedly the reason why recent NXT call-ups like Karrion Kross and Dakota Kai have been booked pretty poorly since coming up to the main roster, with Vince booking Karrion Kross to lose 2 matches on Raw thus far in such a short amount of time despite Karrion being booked as nearly unbeatable in NXT. And Dakota Kai, who is going to be challenging for the NXT Women's title at the next TakeOver event, just lost to Aaliyah on a taping of Main Event this past week. Clearly, Vince is punishing these recent call-ups because he hates NXT as it is right now, and it's doubtful that really anybody currently working for NXT is going to amount to very much in WWE with Vince's newfound attitude regarding changing up NXT completely and the type of talent McMahon wants to be featured on the brand. Bad news all around for NXT for sure. Prior to John Cena making his huge and momentous return to WWE at the Money in the Bank 2021 pay-per-view event, which saw John Cena confront the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, there was a lot of speculation that John Cena may have quietly retired from WWE after his last match at WrestleMania 36, which, as most of you are likely aware, was a Firefly Funhouse match against the Fiend Bray Wyatt, with John Cena being far too busy with his schedule in Hollywood to make time for wrestling anymore, and that Cena was wanting to retire a bit younger to be able to stay healthy as he gets older. However, John Cena was convinced by WWE officials to return to the company for another run. But if a shocking new backstage rumor proves to be true, John Cena's current run in WWE that is seeing John Cena feud with Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship heading into SummerSlam 2021, could sadly very well be John Cena's final run in WWE as an actual in-ring competitor. A new behind-the-scenes rumor has leaked that John Cena has informed Vince McMahon that once his current storyline with Roman Reigns ends, shortly following SummerSlam, John has no idea when he will have any free time for another run in wrestling, considering his movie schedule is only getting more hectic, much like The Rock, and that John has basically told Vince that this will be his final run in WWE as an actual wrestler, as he is 44 years old and John Cena has made it clear to Vince that he will not have any spare time to perform in WWE after SummerSlam for quite some time, and that even if he was allowed to take some time off in the near future, most movie studios and Hollywood executives don't want John Cena to risk injury, which could throw off the production of films Cena is in and various projects involving John Cena. And this unfortunately means that John Cena's huge match against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2021 could very well be his last, at least for a very long time.